AEW Dynamite recorded its lowest rating in over 3 years, and now we're going to look at the jobbers responsible for that. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. It's time for the quarter by quarter hour breakdown here of AEW Dynamite that aired on the 15th of May. The lowest rated Dynamite since January 6th, 2021. And we all know why that wasn't really watched. And if you look at the numbers, it's pretty much the lowest rated Dynamite ever. Unless, of course, you count the one that was like moved to Saturday, and there was also one that was moved to Tuesday and went head to head with Taker and Cena on NXT. Other than that, though, and with like crazy stuff happening in the world, this has been the lowest Dynamite of all time. So, yeah, not very good there for AEW, Tony Khan. The Elite, they're going with this new storyline. They're going in a new direction. The Elite are taking over. And as soon as the Elite take over, AEW records some of its lowest all-time ratings. And arguably its lowest of all time if you don't factor in any of the unusual circumstances. So yeah, absolute shite for AEW, and now we're going to look at the shite people on the roster that made it happen.
Like a game of lingo, it keeps going lower and lower each time. Each passing week, it's going low. But let's look at the jobbers that were responsible for this and kick it off with the first quarter. It's by far...
Before we actually kick off with the first quarter, I want to just mention, Tony Khan promoted that there would be a massive overrun on this show. Nothing that just seems very phony. Like, how does he know that? Like, already stating there's going to be a massive overrun.
Yeah.
Are overruns not supposed to be, like, accidental?
Spontaneous.
Yeah, I mean, if he's claiming there's going to be a massive one, then couldn't he just cut stuff from the show so there isn't one?
See, when wrestling was good, if an overrun was promised, that would mean something was going to happen. See, now if an overrun's promised, man, you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, but would TBS not be pissed? If Tony Khan is purposely giving you like an overrun, would the show network not be like, why are you purposely having this show go long?
Yeah, but wads of cash probably changed that argument.
True. Anyway, like you said, quarter one, 8 o'clock to 8:15. Jeff Cobb and Kyle Fletcher taking on Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley with 753,000 views. I don't know what is happening with the Big Bang Theory. Is it still on right now? Has it been cancelled? Are people just getting sick of the Big Bang Theory? I'm not sure what it is, but you can definitely see that there was something propping up Dynamite, because Dynamite went from starting in the mid-900s to maybe 1 million range, and if you look at like the last, I don't know how many shows, but for the past few months now, it's almost been like Dynamite has struggled to start the show with more than 800,000. So it looks like 7.5 seems to be the true starting point for Dynamite.
Yeah, and with Big Bang Theory, I mean, way above this. I mean, there's some weeks we're starting with over 1 million.
Yeah, so it's crazy how AEW Dynamite has literally lost like 250,000 almost in its starting audience. But yeah, we get Jeff Cobb, Kyle Fletcher. Could not fucking tell you who Jeff Cobb is. Shout out to Wrestling Jesus, WJ. I know he ranted about some guy called Jeff Cobb a few times. I'm assuming it was some guy who Ring of Honor, since the WJ days didn't really have AEW, and it was more of a Ring of Honor thing he would bash. But
Ring of Honor.
I definitely don't remember this guy in TNA. So
no, he wasn't. But this match went about 22 minutes. Boring. Take a sheet, and Claudio brawled, and again that moves us into quarter two. It just, I mean, it loses 8%. Is it any surprise? So this boring ass match taken across 2 quarters? No.
What?
What do you mean? I'm talking about Jeff Cobb and Kyle Fletcher shiting the bloody pants off.
Right, quarter two, 8:15 to 8:30. Cobb and Fletcher, Danielson, Moxley continues. Then we get a post-match. We take a shitter. Coscanoli, Adam Copeland, House of Black, The Elite, Jack Perry. So, yeah, quarter two, down 8%. As soon as you involve The Elite and Jack Perry, the numbers just go down. The numbers go low.
But see, it's funny. We think that's some of the better stuff they're doing because it's controversial. I'm not saying it's great, but people like Dynamite.
Bischoff once says controversy creates cash, so
it is though. Some people can think it's shit, and of course what it stemmed from is, but I'd rather what they're doing right now than what they were doing beforehand, which was nothing.
We go into quarter three, 8:30 to 8:45. FTR backstage promo. Daniels and Sadal versus the Young Bucks, down 5%. So we went from 753 to 656, basically lost 100,000, and that is pretty much since they introduced the Elite in the Young Bucks. And aye, so there you go. I'm going to blame those guys for losing that 100k. As soon as the Young Bucks, though, are off the screen, they actually go up 5%. So quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. Tony Storm backstage promo. Malachi Balak backstage promo. Hook versus Sebastian Wolf. Who the fuck is that? Don't know. Hook, Chris Jericho, live promo. Big Bill getting involved. Kariaki Yuko Shibita had a promo as well. And then Swerve Strickland with a backstage promo. This goes up 5% to 692,000. Quarter 5, 9 o'clock to 9:15. Brian Cage versus Swerve Strickland. This goes down 6% to 652,000. Quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:40 p.m. Cage versus Strickland continued. Post-match with the Patriarchy. Then Hook, Shibata, and Tony Storm versus Harley Cameron. This goes up 4% to
I think it's really poor, by the way, that Brian Cage and Swerve Strickland at the top of the first hour ending and second hour beginning are losing 6%.
It is poor. And why is this match lasting 2 fucking quarters? Swerve Strickland's the champion. Brian Cage is a guy that jobs out every week.
Yep.
Why is he taking Swerve Strickland 2 quarters to defeat? Doesn't make any sense.
I think it carried over 3 quarters because he was cutting a promo backstage in quarter 4. Just, does that really need to take up that amount of time?
Nah, no, but it's more the match for me. Like Swerve.
No, absolutely the match, yeah. But I mean, as for the 18 to 49,
it went up 2%. I wouldn't say that's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's good, but here
we just say it was.
Well, you know what? It's better than red, and that's all this show knows. Ever bet red on black? It's more often than not red on this show. Even though you can't get green roulette, it's more like a darts board for red.
Can Zero's green?
No, it's pretty much like a darts board for AEW, but instead of all the other bits of green, it's just fucking red. The only bit of green's the 25. Anyway, guys, it's all about the not 18 to 49. But let's move on to quarter 7, because that's what we want to talk about. 663. Tony Storm, Haley Cameron continues again. What's the trend? The matches continuing over quarters. We then had Will Ospreay, Roderick Strong backstage. Hey Will, I used to know you, man. Do you want to tag my on for the tag titles, buddy? I mean, come on, fucking Roderick Strong. Tell me what title Roderick Strong's got, by the way, and I'll give you all the money in Westeros.
International.
I don't know what it is. I think it's the international. Where have you plucked that from? It is. Anyway, Will Nightingale, Mercedes Moné. I mean, lose to 2%, and then as you go into the 8th quarter, they lose a hell of a lot more, 6%. It was actually it was the segment of the night. Nightingale Moné. So there you go.
Jesus Christ, 6% loss, 622,000. Lowest segment of the night as well. I mean, not really surprised. You have Nightingale and Monet, followed by Okada versus Harwood. Does anybody care about that? I certainly do.
Boring ass match, right? And by the way, yes, for the overrun, they go up 2%. But how much is that down to people
tuning in to the next show?
Aye. I bet you that's what it is.
Because if people really cared about the ending, you would be watching on quarter 8. Who's going to tune in for the ending after 10 o'clock when the show should be over? Fucking nobody.
And see when they do those through pip ads where it's like the split screen of the ads and the actual show, I bet you people tuning in for the thing at 10 think that's just an ad before their show comes on. And I bet you that boosts the rating.
Yeah, if people really cared about what was happening in the main event, they would have tuned in for the last quarter. But they tune in as soon as it hits 10 o'clock. The reason they're tuning in as soon as it's 10 because they think there's another show starting. They think this shite's over with. I reckon that's why Tony can't. He's desperate. That's probably why they're doing late overruns now. I've noticed that now. AEW's always done slight overruns, but lately they seem to be going longer, like 7, 8, 9.
He can't get the rub for the Big Bang Theory, so he's trying to get the rub for the thing after.
So, I mean, Tony Khan, desperate times, call for desperate measures. They're not going in with a great rating now, so instead he's trying to keep the show on longer to try and trick people into tuning in at the end when they think that his crappy wrestling show's finished and they've got something new to watch. Instead, he's going to run AEW as long as he can. But, you know, the more he does this, people will just not tune in till later. If he keeps doing this, then people just won't tune in till like 10 past 10.
Yeah, simple as that.
So, you know, you might get a little boost in the rating, but, I mean, is it really worth it long term?
A boost in the rating? I mean, he gets, what,
12,000.
12,000 more than what he got. Nah, Tony. I think he is doing that. He's petulant. I wouldn't surprise me.
That has to be the reason he's doing it. 100%. There's no other reason really for it.
Here, one of these times, maybe something big comes on after Dynamite. He could get a big boost, but realistically, you're not going to get that much of a boost.
No, you're not.
Because, like, even if you get, like, say they got 5 million somehow, because something great's coming on after, that's your show done. You know, it's not like you start with 5 million, it gradually gets worse. It's just going to be 5 and done. But anyway, 6-7-2 overall. Will it get lower next week? My prediction would probably be yes.
How low can you go? I said it would get under 600k by the end of June. Will I be right with that prediction? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't bet on it, but I wouldn't bet against it either. I mean, it very well could happen. I think it will gradually get lower. Obviously, there will get to a point where there's just not that many more fans to lose, and I don't know what that point is. Like, I wonder what's the hardcore audience that just will not stop watching until this company dies.
I don't know.
I must be getting close to it. Like,
yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I guess every kind of like wrestling shows always had that. Apart from TNA.
But we talk about WWE, right? WWE took a long time to lose their audience. If you think about it, yes, I mean, what WWE's doing, like, half of what they were doing in, like, 2012, right? But, I mean, that was a long time ago. AEW's audience is literally halved in about 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, like. So yeah, who knows how much lower it will go. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. Till then, peace.